Tonight on Bill Green's Maine, we'll take to the water in amphicars.
It's the best car on the lake and the best boat on the road.
We'll meet Maine's Hawaii Iron Woman, Angela Bancroft.
I'm 100% in when I go after something, so I have pretty high goals for myself.
And we'll share the personal story of a through hike along the Appalachian Trail.
You guys want to hear from Kirk.
Join us now for Bill Green's Maine. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Bill Green's Maine, coming to you from the Big Painted Rock up by Mount Katahdin. You got to look up the township because I really don't know. This is a tough time of year. You want to get in your car and get out and look at the sensational foliage, but you got stuff to do around the house to get it buttoned up for winter. The same is true metaphorically here at Bill Green's Maine. This first story tonight is one that we've been trying to do all summer long, and we're lucky to get it in just before the snow flies. These are amphicars, a specific brand of aquatic vehicle. They run on roads and on water. Owners like Rick Richardson of Richardson's Marina know best.
This is not a good car or a good boat in its own, but it's the best car on the lake and the best boat on the road.
The Shaw Brothers of Shaw Brothers Construction and Gorham Sand and Gravel form the nucleus of a group of amphicar owners who live around Sebago Lake. While it's most fun to watch the cars on the water, it's interesting to get a look under the hood, the engine's in the back.
So it's got a Triumph engine.
Yeah.
It's got a Porsche transmission and Volkswagen running gear.
I don't know if that amalgamation is good or bad, but since these amphicars were made mostly in the late 60s, they're pretty simple to keep on the road. And water, says Danny Shaw.
Easy. Jump in, go see your friend, come back, drive her to the garage. The garage door opener on.
The Shaws let me drive an amphicar with Jackie Shaw giving me some important information before I got in.
So we have the door lock on the inside, which is one of the most important features of the vehicle. Without it, unless you do this, and make it a tight fit, you will get water.
When you get water,
you sink.
amphicars are easy to drive. You throw a lever at your feet and the propellers engage. Although I hit the water a little hard. Soon I was cruising across Sebago Lake at 7 knots. Jimmy Shaw left early for a good reason.
Once you see the water coming up around your feet, you want to head for shore.
Good advice, and it has been since the 1800s when Napoleon developed a floating carriage. The amphicar comes out of West Germany.
The technology was started with Hitler, and he wanted to make something amphibious to drive on water during the war. And when the war ended, somebody from Germany bought that technology.
Danny's car is a right-hand drive. Only 300 of 3,700 amphicars were such, and very few exist today. Joe Hogan's car has been in his family since he was a boy.
Yeah, in 1967, I was a 7-year-old boy. I sat in the back seat while Dad and Phil Kelly from Kelly Pontiac in Bangor, he came up to Holton to sell him the amphicar.
Amphicars now sell for $35,000 to $70,000 or more. Not bad for what was once considered an expensive toy or comparatively inexpensive second car.
Strictly a second car, although when I got my driver's license in Holton, Maine, I drove it all winter.
Did you really?
For the last couple of years of high school. And go like a tank.
The Shaw family got involved when their father bought a building with an amphicar in it. They flipped over the $1,500 difference in price.
He lost the flip, but he still says that he won because he got the car. So.
He loved his amphicar and passed that love along to his sons who love theirs. And it's easy to see why. The best boat on the road, the best car on the water. That's easy enough to remember. Time now for our trivia question, which is about the Appalachian Trail, which ends right up there on Baxter Peak at the top of Mount Katahdin. The question is, how long is the Appalachian Trail? We'll have that answer later on. But next, we're going to meet a woman with some giddy-up. It's Angela Bancroft, who just completed the Ironman Triathlon in Hawaii. Stay tuned as Bill Green's Maine continues. Angela Small Bancroft is a Cape Elizabeth native who now lives on Paris Hill. She is a world-class age group triathlete who often spends as much as 6 hours a day preparing to compete in her sport. It is arguably the most challenging event in all of sport. The Ironman Triathlon in Hawaii combined that state's 3 toughest races, a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and a marathon race of 26.2 miles. 46-year-old Angela Small Bancroft has competed in the event 4 times.
There is no greater feeling than running down Aliti Drive, which is where the finish line is. The crowds are intense and just electric.
Angela has always loved the hard work of athletics. An outstanding swimmer and runner at Cape Elizabeth, she went to UVM where she swam. She continued to compete, running a number of marathons as a young married woman. When she and husband Mark had their 3rd son, the world was changing.
When my youngest was 2, so that was 2006, I realized that, I needed to kind of get back into something a little bit for myself while I was taking care of the boys.
So she jumped into a sprint triathlon, a 750-meter swim, a 20K bike, and a 10K run. And things went pretty well.
I loved it. It was I was a pure rookie and I made some pretty comical errors and everything, but I had a blast that day, and I guess it just snowballed from there.
By 2009, she was ready to step up to the incredible challenge of an Ironman. These are held all over the world, and while the distances are the same and grueling, conditions change from course to course. One big challenge in the big race is you are not alone. My
first experience was in Lake Placid, and it was wild. You hear it compared to something like a washing machine, or, nearly 2,000 people starting in a fairly small area and everybody fighting for their space of water and there not being enough water. So it was pretty frightening, honestly.
But for Angela, who even liked her first swimming competition at the age of 8, it was pretty cool.
I was taught at a young age by my parents, who continue to be incredible supporters of everything I do. But, they taught me really right off that when you want to go after something, to work as hard as you can and give it your everything.
The Ironman was made famous by an athlete named Julie Moss, who crawled across the finish, and by Sean Walsh and Wendy Ingraham, who put on this incredible crawling finish in 1997. Since that time, tens of thousands have responded to the challenge, most with better preparation, if not equal courage.
It's pretty spectacular in Hawaii. It's a tough course. You have extreme heat, you're racing in the lava fields, the winds are totally unpredictable and absolutely, you think you might have an easy day and all of a sudden, you've got crosswinds that are pushing people down onto the road when you're just, unexpectedly.
Every one of the 2,000 entrants at Kona qualified, having mastered unique considerations such as nutrition during the race. Angela takes in 2 bottles of replacement fluids an hour and simple sugars like power bars before sipping flat Coke the last 7 miles or so of the marathon.
Numerous physiological things happen to you, but it's amazing because you can go for 140.6 miles, 140.8, and you can barely walk. Your brain, it just knows that that's all you've got. But the next day, it's pretty tough. My muscles are completely just seized and I need help walking, things like that.
This time, Angela was the 5th swimmer in her age group, fell to 26th after the bike, but closed 17 places with the 3rd fastest marathon in her age group to finish 9th, a personal record.
In Ironman, it's who slows down the least. It's not the same as a go all out 5K. It is a whole different ballgame. You have to be very patient.
Angela runs her own training business called Moxie Try, through which she coaches a small roster of triathletes. Her advice to someone who would like to take up this challenge is to figure out what you can manage and then enter the event that's right for you. It's a philosophy she personally subscribes to.
It's really just my lifestyle, and this is, and my family is so supportive and knows that this is who I am, so I am up, by 4 a.m. and get a lot of training done super early in the morning. Before the day starts for anyone else, I've already done several hours of training typically. So I fit it in around their lives, and I work from home so I can make my own schedule.
Angela says she has been able to maintain her strength and speed as she has grown older, and hopes her efforts are an inspiration to those around her, especially her sons. So kindly share the road with this triathlete. She's doing something very special, and in her age group is not only among the best in the world, she's ahead of most of them. The most amazing part of that effort to me was she was the third fastest marathoner in her division, running a 3:37, and she did the last mile in 7:11. Tremendous. Well, when we come back, we're going to go into the archives, a couple of weeks or so, to check out stuff that looks like Maine. You'll be astounded when Bill Green's Maine continues. For many of us, that first image of Maine is a puzzle you get when you're about 5 years old. Maine is orange and it's up in the corner, and it's got a moose and a pine tree on it. However, if you keep your eyes open as life goes along, you find out that the shape of Maine is everywhere. If you're like photographer Kirk and I, you see the state of Maine everywhere. We looked for confirmation from our newsroom. Sometimes you have to use your imagination.
Oh, no, I'm definitely using it on this.
This one is a stretch.
I don't know what that was.
Can you point it out to me?
Some were better than others.
After we put our pictures on the Bill Green's Maine Facebook page, we got tremendous response. Lots of tattoos, which are not naturally occurring. However, one viewer saw Maine in the beach sand, which had collected on her foot and dropped on her towel. Another saw Maine on her bulldog's nose. We don't. But the coup de grace.
No way.
Native Mainers Chantel and Mike Woodcock moved to Virginia when Mike joined the Army. They had a baby, and bam.
Oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the state of Maine ear.
That is a state of Maine ear.
I see it. There's York County down there. There's
That's
the
right.
crown of Maine up there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like the cutest deer I've ever seen in my life. You know?
See, the state of Maine is everywhere. You just have to keep your eyes open. Now, our wives used to make fun of us for collecting things that look like Maine, but since we first aired that story a couple of weeks ago, we've got disciples who are finding Maine objects and putting them on our Bill Green's Maine Facebook page. We hope that you will do the same. When we come back, we'll have a very personal story about a trip along the Appalachian Trail. Stay tuned for more Bill Green's Maine. Time now to answer our trivia question. Early in the show, we asked you, how long is the Appalachian Trail? It is 2,189.1 miles right now. It changes all the time. Kirk shoots and edits Bill Green's Maine. We're very much partners on this program. His father, Alan, passed away in June of 2015. Alan loved the outdoors and always dreamed of thru hiking the Appalachian Trail, but life got in the way. He did become a trail angel, supporting people on through hikes with many little kindnesses. And along the way, Alan made a hiking stick. And so this year, when a good friend by the name of Mo Lemire announced that he was going to through hike the trail, Kirk thought it would be great if he took that walking stick along.
2,184 miles, 5 to go. All right, we all signed in?
We're all signed in.
All right, and we're off. Today is day 168. It's a crazy mix of emotions, from excitement to sadness to anxiety, stress. It's like it's almost over. You know, it's like this is like your life for 168 days. You get up, you eat, you walk, you poop, you go to bed, you walk some more. That's just what you do. It's terrifying. Exciting, but absolutely terrifying, because not just what you're about to do, but like your whole life as a whole is about to change. You're never the same person again. It's just a better version of you.
How have you changed?
Well, for me, I know definitely this has made me a much more confident person. Because when you go into the woods and you hike, this year it will be 2,189.1 miles. Like, I'm pretty badass to do this. I've learned that the human body is just absolutely fascinating, because when you're at your limit and you push and you make it through that piece, you now have a new limit. And then you reach that and then you push again. 4.1, we've already gone a mile. Or ish. Well, when you're on the AT, everything's ish. There's no set agenda, you just kind of do. Yeah, you can hear this. You can hear me coming out of the woods a mile away. Did you see your dad, the tip, how it had held out?
That's
I mean,
amazing.
It got worn down, but it made it all the way.
I contacted you about my dad's stick.
Yep. As soon as you had mentioned that, it was like, absolutely, this is what's supposed to happen. And we hadn't seen each other in over 20 years, really talking. We're just in the Facebook friend thing.
It's true.
Some people. It wasn't one of those like, should I do this? Can I do this? I just, without thinking, absolutely. I mean, I've gotten very attached to this stick, so it's definitely, it's been, part of the journey. I became known as the guy with the stick on the trail. From day one, people, they took pictures and people wanted to hold it, and it's interesting how all I'm doing is going for a walk with a stick, but the amount of compassion and impact that it had on other people.
It kind of symbolizes more than my dad now. It symbolizes your stepdad, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about...
It's interesting about that. So my stepdad died from cancer when I was in high school. We were very close. He was like the father I'd never had. So yeah, it's definitely morphed into symbolizing my stepdad as well as your dad. Then every time I got a state down, I would start the trail and draw a line and then write the state, next state, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont. Then I had to go under the carving to New Hampshire, Maine, but we haven't gotten the last one yet. I'll do that when we get up top. Oh my God, this day is like perfect. Perfect.
On June 9th, you surprised me, and
it honestly did not occur to me until that day that we were going to go up on the anniversary of your dad's death. It was truly an epic moment to watch the sunrise that morning on that perfect day.
We have a great route over here.
Great route?
Perfect handhold.
Good route. This pack is never going to be the same.
We're almost above the trees.
Yay!
We're getting there.
Hazel, my shoe is failing. We're almost all the way through. I think I'm down to super feet holding it together. It's sort of bittersweet. It's like so exciting to be here and at this point, and I've just walked here from Georgia, which is so crazy. But when you see these people go by, it's like I might never see them again. And it's kind of like, they were family for 4, 5 months, 6 months. How was it?
It was awesome. Oh. It's so nice that you're here.
I know.
At the beginning and the end.
I know. We did it. Good job. We freaking did it. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna start crying in a minute. That's awesome. That is just awesome.
This was the best.
That is so cool to be able to share that.
Wasn't that? Okay, let's go south. Okay, let's go back. Oh my God.
So you guys
we walked here from Georgia. This many, we did it. Wow. Elevated. He walked every step of the way with me. The last thing I gotta do. Done. It's done. It was an honor. It really was.
Kirk does all the shooting and editing on this show. He's a big-time Emmy winner. He's a big-time Murrah winner. But the title that he and we all carry most proudly is Son. That's our show for this week. If you'd like to know more about the stuff we did, get on our websites, WCSH6.com, WLBZ2.com. Don't forget to download the app and like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're trying to get to 10,000 likes on Facebook and would particularly appreciate a little extra effort there. Thanks so much for being with us. Forget about buttoning up the house. You can do that anytime. Get out and see this foliage. And please see us every Saturday night at 7 for more editions of Bill Green's Maine.